हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्णा
ओम
प्रभु जी।
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण।
प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो वासुदेवाय। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद। जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद। जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद। जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते पेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी शुभानुस्ते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय उत्तरी राधानाथ पादाय कृष्ण दांत स्वामी नाम नमस्ते गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी विशेषण तम करोति वाचालं पंकं वन्दे गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं चैतन्येश्वरम्। यो तत्सत्। हरि बोल। हरे कृष्ण। You all for joining. We are continuing Chaitanya Pravaha, a very auspicious flow of the holy river of the pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has appeared in the age of Kali, give the opportunity to conditioned souls like us to be delivered from this material existence by taking the dip in the ocean of pure devotional service. So we are discussing the Madhya Lila pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. We are discussing chapter 14 of the Madhya Lila. This is the continuation of the narration of the Lord's Sankirtan Lila in Jagannath Puri. We discussed how Lord Chaitanya spent roughly the last 18 years of the Lord's manifest pastimes in Jagannath Puri. The first few years of the Lord's pastimes, of course, a couple of years, the Lord went to South India, did his South India tour for a couple of years, then he comes back. Then he spends quite a few years doing his Sankirtan Leela in Jagannath Puri, where he was interacting actively with the devotees, participating in Rath Yatras. Every year, the devotees from Gal would come. The last few chapters that we have been discussing of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela are very characteristic of that period of the Lord's pastimes. And this is characterized by the Lord's public manifestation of his Sankirtan Leela. How the Lord, together with all the other pure devotees, especially during the Rath Yatra, because Rath Yatra is the greatest festival in Puri. Rath Yatra itself is such a very spiritually deep and spiritually significant occasion. We have discussed this in the past, so I don't intend to discuss this point more. But the Rath Yatra pastime signifies very specifically the mood that Lord Chaitanya had come to manifest. Krishna in the mood of Radharani, who's feeling separation from Krishna, had come to manifest. Who's Jagannath? Jagannath is Krishna in the mood of separation from Radharani and the residents of Vrindavan. So Krishna and Radha come together. Those who have been separated come together in this Rath Yatra pastime, which is commemorating how Radharani and the gopis met Shri Krishna after almost 100 years on the bank of the Yamuna on the pretext of solar eclipse. So, the most prominent pastimes of the Lord in terms of Sankirtan Lila are those of his participation in the Rath Yatra at Jagannath Puri. And the last couple of chapters we have been discussing how beautifully the Lord participated in the Rath Yatra festival in Puri. Not only just participated, but also not just was there, but how he was, so much central to the celebration of how he organized all the devotees who were chanting and dancing in various groups, singing in beautiful ways, singing, playing instruments, dancing, how he organized multiple groups. So we discussed all these very beautiful episodes. Now we are entering chapter 14 of this particular episode. The Rath Yatra is still going on. And at this particular juncture, and this is where we ended in our discussion, and the Lord was dancing with all his devotees, we discussed how, there were circles formed of devotees holding hands to give protection and cover to Lord Chaitanya, who was dancing in the center, so that others and the crowds do not disturb his dancing. So there will be 2-3 rings of devotees holding hands. And we discussed how Pratap Rudra Maharaj was also watching. It was very exciting for all those who had gathered there in Puri, because there were actually 2 lords there, one on the Rath and one in front of the Rath. On the moving Rath was the stationary Lord, Jagannath. And on the road was the dancing Lord. By the way, in Puri, when the word Mahaprabhu is used, Jagannath Puri, when the word Mahaprabhu is used, the word Mahaprabhu is used in traditional Odia to Lord Jagannath. Jagannath is called Mahaprabhu, the great Lord. And we refer to Lord Chaitanya as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is Mahaprabhu, that is Mahaprabhu. Both are Mahaprabhus. One Mahaprabhu is dancing in front of the other. This is a very intimate, beautiful, sweet pastime. We also discussed about how Lord Chaitanya, as he was dancing in front of Jagannath, was offering beautiful, beautiful prayers by reciting verses from the Bhagavad, expressing the deep mood of separation that Radharani was feeling for Krishna. So we went through all those discussions. And where we stopped in chapter 13 was that the Ratha procession finally comes. Just before it reaches the Gundicha temple, it comes to a place known as Balagandi. So Balagandi is a very famous place. Balagandi is a place along the path of the Ratha Yatra journey where traditionally during the Rath Yatra pastimes, throngs of devotees come and offer various food items to the Lord. Correct? Just like, when we go out, outstation, we are sitting in a car, we go in our car, we go distance. As we are traveling the journey also, we like to stop at some place, pull over. In Malaysia, we call it R&R. Want to get down there and eat something, rest for a little while. So this is one halt That's what Jagannath takes in his journey to the Gundicha temple. And it is almost towards the end of his journey. And the Ratha stops there. And the speciality of that place, we discussed this last time, how there are beautiful gardens. There is a community of the Brahmanas on one side. There's a beautiful garden of coconut trees on the other. There are so many devotees. And everyone is excited there because Jagannath at that place of Balagandi is especially known that anyone and everyone can come. They can cook whatever means, of course, whatever the Lord accepts. To cook offerings without any consideration of qualification, not qualification. They all come and offer their self-cooked offerings to Jagannath. Accept. And it is said at that particular place, there is no rules and regulations to offering. And Jagannath there is in a mood that, it's not that you have to come up on the Ratha, in a plate, put tulasi, ring bell, this, that. Of course, as devotees, when we offer, we want to put tulsi. So whatever we can do, we should do. But Jagannath, all you have to do is just come there, hold it in front and say, Jagannath, please have. Jagannath with Angani Asya Sakale Indriya, Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram. By his chakadola, his eyes, which are like round, big wheels, he's glancing and accepting all the offerings by looking at them. Correct? That's how the Lord eats, right? We eat by putting into our mouth. The Lord eats by glancing on the food, and then he transforms it into Mahaprasad. Invests his grace, his prasad. So all devotees crowded around the Ratha. And everybody was there with their offerings. Thousands and thousands of devotees. And it is so crowded at that point that not only are there devotees in front of the Ratha, not only are there devotees on the left, on the right, but there are devotees even behind the Ratha offering Jagannath offerings at Balagandi. And Jagannath is accepting everything. It's not that you have to be in the line of vision of Jagannath so that Jagannath can see. Jagannath knows everything. He can accept from anywhere. It's very liberal at that point. Anyone. It's not that only second initiated can offer. Anyone can offer and Jagannath will accept. Of course, you must have some sincerity. It's not that, because Krishna is not hungry for food. The point here is, it is not the ritual, but if anybody is coming there with the desire to serve Jagannath by offering him something, he is happy to accept. He's blessing everything. So as the Rath Yatra stops there and the crowds came, Lord Chaitanya stopped his dancing. By that time, Lord Chaitanya had been dancing already for a long, long time in front of the Ratha. And from an external perspective, even though the Lord is the Lord, from an external perspective, the Lord appeared very tired and fatigued. He was perspiring. So the Ratha came to a halt. Everybody gathered around to do all these offerings. So the Lord stopped his dancing and to the side and entered the garden, which was next to the place of where the Ratha was waiting and standing. So the Ratha waits there for some time for all the devotees to come and do their offerings. The side and entered this garden. Perspiring and tired, the Lord wanted to take a little bit of rest in his own divine pastimes. He went in. There was a tree under which there was a raised platform. The Lord went in, started resting for a little while under that platform. Many other devotees, seeing that the Lord went to the garden, they also took the opportunity. Let's take a quick break. We've been dancing for so many kilometers. Let's also take a quick break. They also came and they also slept under various trees. They were taking rest. So very, very beautiful garden. Of course, the garden is still there. We have visited the garden. So something very interesting happened. As the Lord went there to take rest, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, if you remember, all the time Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was thinking, how I will make sure that this Maharaj Prataprudra gets the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. That was his project. because he's so strong. This is the nature of Vaishnava. No? Vaishnava is very keen, not just for himself to receive the mercy, but he's very keen that other devotees get. This is the symptom of a preacher. This is the symptom of a Mahatma. Their excitement is to see how everyone will receive the Lord's mercy, not just that only I want to be fortunate. Material life means I want something special, but nobody else should get that special. The devotee's heart is let everyone taste this nectar, let everyone get. So, feeling happy in the happiness of others receiving the Lord's mercy, those who become happy, that's a symptom that those souls are actually purified and actually dear to the Lord. I mean, Radhanath Maharaj many times has mentioned this, so I'm repeating what I've heard from him. But this is the heart of a Vaishnava. Paradukha Dukhi and Parasukha Sukhi. Being happy in the happiness of others and being sad in the suffering of others. So, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya tells Maharaj Prataprudra, now is your time. So what the king does, Maharaj Prataprudra, as guided by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, because Lord Chaitanya is very clear, I don't want to have anything to do with the king. So what Maharaj Prataprudra does, as per the instruction of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, is he keeps aside all his royal paraphernalia. He dresses himself as a simple, humble, ordinary Vaishnava mendicant. Simple Vaishnava dress. Just like as if I'm any other devotee, like all the millions of devotees gathered here for Rath Yatra. But in a proper Vaishnava dress. He decided to enter that place where the Lord was resting. First, Maharaj Prataprudra took the blessings of all the devotees. Please bless me. I am embarking on my project that Lord Chaitanya will accept me. So please give me your blessing. So this is how the devotees approach the Lord. They first take the blessings of those who are already close to the Lord. That's why we always, before Seva, we pray to Guru, we pray to the Vaishnavas. Access to the Lord is generally difficult, but if we get permission, blessings, invitation from the Lord's dear devotees, then access to the Lord becomes easy. Folded hands, he took permission from all the devotees who were gathered. They were all resting, right, in the same park under various trees. Finally, he gently, peacefully approached the Lord without making any noise. He gently went to the place where Lord Chaitanya was resting under the tree. Lord's eyes were closed. It appeared as if the Lord was not aware of this personality coming, Maharaj Prataprudra. And he gently went, having great courage in his heart, because all this while he was externally shunned by the Lord. The Lord's eyes were closed as if he was in an ecstatic trance meditating on Sri Krishna's pastimes. And the king gently came and held the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, started gently massaging them. Very expertly he was massaging. And not only was King Prataprudra massaging the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, very beautifully, very sweetly, and with great devotion, he started reciting a very beautiful verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam is connected to, is from the Rasa Panchadhyay, 5 chapters of the Ras Lila. Because the king wanted to nourish the devotional sentiments in the heart of Lord Chaitanya. He knew, just like Swarup Damodar, Ramanand Rai, they would sing and recite various verses to nourish the sentiments of Lord Chaitanya. He started reciting a very beautiful verse from the 10th chapter, 10th canto, 31st chapter, which is part of the Rasa Panchadhyay. Beautiful verse. Jayati Tedhikam. Jayati Tedhikam Janmana Vrajaha Sharada Indira. Like, very, very beautiful. It is glorifying the birth of the Brajvasis in this holy land of Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya is already absorbed in that mood of separation from Vrindavan. He's listening to those verses. And Lord Chaitanya's eyes is closed, but he's listening. Oh, somebody's singing such great devotion. And Lord Chaitanya's heart got so nourished and he was feeling so excited. And Lord Chaitanya was feeling so happy. And with his eyes closed, Lord Chaitanya is saying, go on singing, go on singing. Then, as he was reciting various verses from that 31st chapter, the king started reciting another very famous verse from that chapter, which is known as the Bhurida verse. It's very, very famous verse. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibiriditam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Vigrinanti ye Purida Jana. Very beautiful verse. And Lord Chaitanya heard that verse. Before you can appreciate this, I must tell you what is the translation of this verse. It's a very special verse. The translation I will just mention verbatim. This is the gopis singing to Lord Krishna in the Rasa Panchadhyay. They are saying, "Oh Lord, your katha, tava kathamritam, your katha is amrit. The nectar of your words and the descriptions of your activities are the life and soul of those who are aggrieved in this material world." So those who are suffering in this material world, what is the medicine? Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam. So anybody who is suffering in this world, the way to relieve the suffering is tava kathamritam. Hear your pastimes. Kavi bhiriditam. And who's broadcasting these pastimes? By exalted souls, the great kavis. Kalmashapaham. They are eradicating all sins. Srimadatatam. And hearing of these pastimes grants all auspiciousness. So by simply hearing Harikatha, sins are destroyed and all auspiciousness is cultivated and the miseries of the fire of material existence is extinguished. And these glories, that is why, are to be broadcast all over the world. They are full of such spiritual potency. And that is why those who share or spread this message of Godhead amongst the people in general are considered the most munificent welfare workers. Bhuvi grinanti ye bhurida jana. Those who go around the world narrating these pastimes of the Lord are the most, in very simple words, are doing the greatest service to mankind. Because this is the greatest service. The glorification of your name, form, qualities, and pastimes all over the world is the greatest seva one can do for all people, because this nectar of your katha is what will actually pacify the fire, the burning fire of material existence, will destroy all sins and create true auspiciousness. No other kind of discussion. So this is a beautiful verse. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Vigrinanti ye Bhurida Jana. So as Maharaj Prataprudra in the dress of that mendicant is saying, Bhurida Jana, these are the most munificent people. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suddenly got up in great ecstasy. He was lying down, resting, his eyes closed, absorbed in that verse. He suddenly got up and he embraced the king, who was dressed like a beggar, mendicant Vaishnav, and started shouting aloud, saying, "You are Bhurida, you are that most munificent person. You are this most munificent, because you are broadcasting the glories of the Lord. You are speaking this beautiful Harikatha. You are most munificent. Bhurida, Bhurida. At an external level, it seemed that Lord Chaitanya did not know that this was the king. From an external perspective, it seemed the Lord was pleased with this mendicant who was singing the glories of the Lord. But of course, the reality, the Chaitanya Charitamrita says, that the Lord gave this great blessing of his embracing Prataparudra because of all the seva he has been doing all this while. So many sevas he has done for the Lord. He has done so much service to Ramanand Rai. He has done so much service to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He is dear to the Lord and the Lord's devotees, always thinking in the mood of servant of the servant, how I can serve the Lord. Even though the Lord externally rejected him so many times, in spite of being the king, he remained a faithful servant of the Lord and his devotees. He never rejected. Oh, he's not giving me darshan. I reject this guru. I go to another one. I find another one. He always remembered. That is why, even without the king asking Lord Chaitanya for his blessings, that's why reciting this was Lord Chaitanya himself took it upon himself to give him the blessings. Can there be a greater blessing than the Lord embracing us? They are asking, from the Lord we give. Standing on the altar, the Lord give us that blessing from a distance. But what kind of blessing is this? Kind of blessing. Lord Chaitanya himself says, when Lord Chaitanya embraces him, the Lord Chaitanya says, who are you? You have done so much seva to me by reminding me of Krishna and by giving me this opportunity to hear this Krishna Kathamrita. Very humbly said, well, I'm just a very ordinary, obedient servant of your servants. He didn't introduce himself. Actually, I am the king, but I have dressed like a mendicant. Sometimes we are proud of our so-called humility also. He expressed what he considered as his real identity. I am the most obedient servant of your servants. And my only desire, my ambition, Maharaj Prataparudra is telling, in the mood of a servant of the servant, is that you will accept me as such, as the servant of your servants. And when he surrendered to the Lord in the mood of the servant, that is the most difficult thing. We are always going to the Lord with our ego. I am so great. Oh Lord, you know who I am. I've done so much seva for you. Of course, not that we are saying we are opulent or powerful, of course, in front of the Lord, whatever. But sometimes, in terms of our service, also we try to manage so many temples. I have preached to so many people. I am so learned. As if the Lord should be grateful to us for us becoming his devotee. Just simply, my only desire is you accept me as the servant of your servants. And the Lord was so pleased with that mood. And this mood is truly difficult to sincerely manifest, especially for those who are very, very materially opulent. It's not easy. For those who are very materially opulent and powerful in this world, actually, it's a curse of material nature. I think I mentioned this many times, but I keep mentioning this because my spiritual master, once mentioned this to me very, very strongly. And he spent 10-15 minutes on that particular point trying to get into my head. I don't know why. But I think it has got into my head because I still remember and I go on repeating it. Radhanath Maharaj told me that having lot of material opulence is actually a curse of material nature. It's not a blessing. Because in that mood, one becomes actually proud. One loses in that pride one's ability to sincerely take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. Correct? In the Bhagavatam, there is this another beautiful verse. Huh? Janmaishwara Shutashri bhi edamanam madappuman naiva arhati abhidatum tuam akinchana gocharam. Mother Kunti is telling Krishna, those who are proud either because of wealth, beauty, education, high birth, whatever. Janma Aishwarya Shutashri bhi edamanam madhapuman. These things usually intoxicate a person. Naiva arhati abhidatum. They cannot call out your name helplessly, O Lord. You are accessible, O Lord, to akinchana gochara. Those who think themselves as simple, menial, humble servants of your Lordship. And this is exactly the mood that Maharaj Prataprudra was able to approach even after being such a great king. That's why the Lord was so pleased. And it is said, the Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, at that moment, being pleased after having embraced Maharaj Prataprudra, he said the Lord displayed his divine opulences to Maharaj Prataprudra. Now, it is not explained specifically what divine opulences he revealed, but just like he gave that very special darshan of Shadbhuj Roop to Ramanand Rai, he gave his darshan of his spiritual form to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in his house. The same way, in some form, he revealed himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in front of Maharaj Pratap. Then he told Maharaj Pratap, I am giving this special blessing to you by revealing my real personality. Don't post on Facebook. Don't post on Instagram. You're not supposed to tell anybody anything. Otherwise, what we'll do in today's world, quickly take a selfie and post it. I was here, the Lord. Then advertise everywhere. Then count the likes. Then say, ah, I'm so great. I'm so wonderful. Don't tell anybody the special blessing. Actually, all the while, Lord Chaitanya knew he's Maharaj Prataprudra. But throughout this whole interaction, because the Lord wanted to protect the dignity of his ashram and his vow of not interacting with the king. But in this case, it was not the king who had come. In one sense, it was the king who had come. But the person who had come was a humble servant of the Lord. He genuinely came with that. Not with the false ego of the king, but with the true ego of Das. So through this beautiful interaction, the Lord pretended as if he didn't know that this was Maharaj Pratap. He gave his full blessings to him, but he didn't externally show. And as this was happening and his full blessing was being given, the devotees who were resting under other trees in that garden, they were seeing this. They were so happy. Oh, finally, we were all leading to Lord Chaitanya to just give audience to the king and just see what kind of blessing the Lord has given to Maharaj Pratap. What to speak of audience, he has given something which we all are also struggling to get. He actually embraced him and he revealed his divine opulences. What more blessing can somebody ask? So this is also another Vaishnava character. When a devotee sees another devotee receive the Lord's special favor, he becomes happy. He doesn't think, why him? Why not me? He's just the king. I have been doing so much service for my guru, for Krishna, for the deities for so long. I didn't get this mercy. Why him? So that is not our business. Why him or why him? That is Krishna's judgment. A devotee is always happy to see another devotee get the Lord's special mercy. And when the Lord sees a devotee being happy, seeing another devotee get the Lord's blessings, the Lord becomes very happy with that devotee. So this is also a very subtle but very significant point of Vaishnava culture and of spiritual psychology of what attracts the Lord. The Lord is attracted by a few characteristics of a devotee. his humility, his mood of of being the servant of the servant, how much he is happy to see others receive the Lord's mercy, how much he is sad to see the suffering of other living entities, how much he extends himself, give Krishna to others, and how much taste he has for hearing and chanting the Lord's glories and the devotees' glories. So these are all important things which we all need to cultivate to attract the Lord's attention, because this is opulence in the eyes of the Lord that makes a devotee attractive in the eyes of Krishna. Do we think we are going to impress Krishna by our position, our beauty? Lord, just see, I'm so beautiful. Lord, I'm so wealthy. I'm so great. All opulence belongs to the Lord. It is only our devotional, humble character which is coming out of our own volition, our own free will, which we are expressing, which will attract the Lord. And when the Lord is extremely pleased with someone, what does the Lord do? When the Lord is pleased, He will give blessings. When the Lord is extremely pleased with someone, the Lord feels that I am so obliged to this person, so obliged that there is nothing that I have that I can give him. Can you imagine? Krishna actually feels like that about some devotees. I am unable, God is thinking, I am unable to repay the love of this devotee. The Lord tells this to the gopis. Your love for me is so extraordinary. No way I can repay you. So simply be happy with this love, because there's no way I can repay you. Hanumanji, when he pleased Ramchandra by doing so much, he saved the life of Lakshman by doing, by bringing the mountain with the Sanjeevani herbs. Lord was so pleased, Lord Ram was so pleased. He said, Hanuman, what can I give you? You are as dear to me as my brother Bharat. Bharat hi sama bhai. Manchari said this. आए संजीवन लखन जी आए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उल्लाय रघुपति की बहुत बड़ाई दिया भरत ही सम भाई. And he embraced Hanuman and he said, I cannot give anything to you. So I am giving myself to you by embracing you. Be happy with my embrace. When the Lord feels like that I cannot give anything. Be happy with my embrace. Can you imagine what kind of blessing that is? So that kind of blessing Lord Chaitanya is giving to Maharaj Prataprudra. Imagine what kind of good love. By the way, just a side point, the direct descendants of Maharaj Prataprudra are still the kings of Puri. King of Puri, the descendants of Maharaj Prataprudra are still coming and doing the same things that they were doing then, roaming in front of the Ratha with the golden broom. That is where the first rite of worshipping, the principal sevak of Jagannath, is the king of Puri. And that tradition is still continuing. Of course, the tradition didn't start with Maharaj Prataprudra. This tradition is much ancient than that. But just to let you know that the direct descendants of Maharaj Prataprudra are still serving Jagannath. And they are still considered the Gajapatis of Puri. So in this way, Maharaj Prataprudra finally achieved the blessing that he was so much longing for. So much patience, right? Even after doing so much seva, it's very interesting. Think about it. I'm sorry, I'm going a bit slow, but this is a very interesting point, because there are a lot of lessons. These are not just stories for us. Oh, he came, he sang, he praised. We want to learn the lessons from this pastime, because there is so much deep spiritual lessons in these pastimes. Even for souls as great as Maharaj Prataparudra and so many of these other personalities, it was not that they did sadhana, everything wonderful. One day they saw Krishna and they lived happily ever after. Even after doing so much service and so much having faith, devotion, sacrifice, for a long time, it seemed to Maharaj Prataparudra that what an ordinary person on the street can easily attain, which is an audience with Lord Chaitanya, I cannot get. Can you imagine what kind of every reason to complain? Oh Lord, I am doing so much for you. I am such a great devotee. That person is so sinful. That person is so sinful. Still, he can come and have your audience, but I can't. You are unfair. You are nonsense. You are this. You are that. He could have argued. He could have lost faith. He could have rejected. Maintained his faith very strong. Finally, after offering his prayers and then the blessings of the Lord, the king offered his obeisances. Lord, Lord Chaitanya, then Maharaj Pratap left the place because he didn't want to overexpose himself in that part. He took opportunity. The Lord is resting. He came, had darshan, has his blessings. The time came. Of course, very, 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 very happy because he had received the fulfillment of his life. Correct? Would you think that if in your lifetime you receive one embrace from Krishna, think your life is successful? Or will you complain? Only one embrace. What is this? No, it is a very big deal. To receive the Lord's embrace, when Lakshmi Devi is hankering for the Lord's embrace, to receive the Lord's embrace. Prabhupada would say, even just once in our life, Krishna will look at us and smile. That is the perfection of our life. It's a big thing. There are zillions of living entities. If one can somehow how manage to attract the Lord's attention to an extent that the Lord will look at us into the eye and with great love look at us and smile. Smile, our life is perfect. Such a great blessing. So we are hankering. I mean, we cannot, at least most of us, I don't want to speak on behalf of all of us, but for most of us to think that we'll be embraced by the Lord, it's probably too far-fetched. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe some of you are so advanced and extraordinary that maybe that may happen. But generally, it is too far-fetched for most. At least somehow in our life, get the Lord. And nobody can simply extract a smile out of the Lord. The Lord is always fully independent. Nobody can arm twist the Lord, force him, bribe him to smile at us. Of his own volition when he smiles. Anyway, so this was a very, very special episode. And then after this beautiful pastime happened, where Maharaj Pratap finally received this very, very special blessings. It is said after that, because Lord Chaitanya was resting, it was lunch time, the Ratha was still resting, Jagannath is still having his meal, devotees are still coming one after another, offering their offerings to Jagannath at Balagandi. Vaninath Rai, the brother of Ramanand Rai, and who was one of the assistant servants of Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri, he brought a lot of Mahaprasad to Lord Chaitanya and all the devotees were resting there. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with all the devotees, were in that park, in that garden, not park, such that garden. They all decided to sit there and have lunch. The king himself, Maharaj Pratap Rudra, arranged for a lot of prasad, sent through Sarvam Bhattacharya, through Ramanand Rai, through Ananath Rai. Most of these offerings that the king had arranged were offered at Balagandi. They were just freshly offered to Jagannath. And they had all kinds of preparations, uncooked milk items and fruits, and best of the best quality of items were offered to Jagannath. So there was no end to the variety of offerings that the king had arranged for. In fact, the next 5-10 verses are what are the items that were offered. So let us have the pleasure of listening to the items that were offered. So when we hear this list of items that are offered, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is particularly famous for listing what was cooked and what was offered. You wonder, Are Baba, spiritual book, why you are saying this sabji was there, this pickle was there, this sweet was there, this kind of roti was there. What? Why in a spiritual literature all these things are relevant? Just say he ate food. Why it is saying? I'll just read the items. Of course, this book is very special, very particular. There are a lot of fruit and fresh items. It is said there were curds, fresh fruit, coconut, mango, dried coconut, jackfruit, various kinds of bananas, palm fruit seeds, oranges, grapefruit, tangerines, almonds, dried fruits, raisins, dates. Hundreds of types of mithais were there. Examples like Manohara Laddu. There were sweets like Amrita Gutika, various types of rabdis, condensed milk, kheers were there. There were papaya, saravati, which is a type of orange, and various kinds of crushed squashes were there. There were different kinds of cream, regular cream, fried cream, puris made with cream. There were sweets known as the Hari Vallabha, sweets made of the cenote flowers, karpura flowers, malati flowers. You probably don't even know these cuisines, these, these items. There were pomegranate, sweets made with black pepper, sweets made with fused sugar, Amrita jilipi. There were lotus flower sugar, a bread made from urad dal, crispy sweetmeats, sugar candy, fried rice sweets, sesame seed sweets, cookies made from sesame seeds. There were sugar candy sweetmeats formed into the shape of orange, lemon, mango. There were mango trees and arranged with fruits, flowers, and leaves. There were yogurt, milk, butter, buttermilk, fruit juice, a preparation made of fried yogurt and sugar candy and salty moong dal sprouts with shredded ginger. There were also various types of pickles. I'm just reading out from the verses. They're not done with the menu yet. There were various types of pickles, lemon pickle, berry pickle, and so on. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, I am not able to describe the variety of food items offered to Lord Jagannath. Now, the interesting thing now, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami reveals how Lord Chaitanya saw this. Lord Chaitanya saw the garden is full of all these offerings. He was very satisfied to see such many items. But what was Lord Chaitanya happy about? Was he saying, my lunch has come. So many items for lunch today. Was Lord Chaitanya thinking like that? When we go for lunch somewhere and the host offers so many items, wow, so many items for lunch for me. That is not the vision of Lord Chaitanya. That is not the vision of a devotee. Lord Chaitanya, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, was fully satisfied just to see how Lord Jagannath must have enjoyed these items. Jagannath So many nice pickles. Oh, Lord Jagannath must have enjoyed. So many sweets were offered to Jagannath. How Jagannath must have enjoyed these sweets. This is the consciousness with which a devotee sees the prasad of the Lord. He doesn't see the prasad of the Lord as such nice, tasty items for me to eat now. He sees the wonderful items. So happy that such a nice paneer sabzi was enjoyed by the Lord today. And then when he tastes the prasad, he's thinking as he's tasting the prasad, I want to taste how the Lord would have enjoyed this item. That is why tasting prasad is also devotional service, especially if it is done in this consciousness. Correct? Sometimes on, not sometimes, on festival days, especially in ISKCON temples, many items are offered to the Lord, isn't it? In front of the altar, hundreds of items in various small, uh, either in thrones or small clay pot vessels, they are offered. The cloth is kept, and the Lord eats. After that, the cloth is removed. And then everyone can see all the offerings. It's already prasad. And then devotees want to go in front and see the offerings. When we go in front to see the offerings, which are made, the hundreds of items which are kept there, we are not going there to see, oh, which out of this I want to pick up as soon as it comes out of the altar. That is sometimes that is our consciousness. Aside what I like. Ooh, this one keep aside for me. We want to go and see to see how the Lord has enjoyed. Wow, the Lord enjoyed this huge spread of items. And as we are looking at the items and thinking like this, the Lord on the altar is looking at us and observing. Oh, he's happy to see how I have enjoyed this. And the Lord becomes happy to see us. You understand? That is what will attract the Lord's attention. So these are the kind of consciousness that we have to develop. Raghav Maharaj was once telling us about Chandan Yatra. Chandan Yatra, the whole body of the Lord is covered with Chandan. A materialistic person, when he sees the Lord's whole body covered with Chandan, what does he think? You are wasting so much Chandan. So much effort putting on stone. What is this? Maharaj said the how you know that you are a devotee. This is an interesting comment. Once he said, I heard this comment directly from Maharaj, but I don't remember whether he mentioned in a class or he mentioned to us privately. I do not recollect. He mentioned a devotee is one when he sees the Lord's body covered with Chandan, his heart becomes cool, thinking of how the Lord's body is cooled by this Chandan. To take pleasure in the pleasure of the Lord. Right? Just like discussed earlier about the Naivedya offered to the Lord, how the Lord would have enjoyed this. Similarly, how clean this is for the Lord. So nice. Even though I am sweating, that's not the point. Lord's body is covered with Chandan. And thinking like this, the devotee's heart feels cool sensation as if the Chandan has actually been placed on his own heart. If we are able to feel this, then we can know that we are making some advancement. So advancement in Krishna consciousness is feeling happiness in the happiness of the Lord. That is very important. That is very central. When one see the Lord decorated nicely, dressed nicely, our heart becomes happy and excited. Once one person was asking me, Prabhu, you are posting the pictures of the Lord every day, of the same deity every day, again and again and again. But why we are posting? We are excited to see how the Lord is so dressed and decorated today. Yes, oh, so nice. And we are happy to see the Lord is so nicely, so beautifully decorated. That is our happiness. And with that excitement, we take darshan. Yes. How the Lord sees us happy in Him being decorated, our heart becomes decorated. This is actually our philosophy. When we try to decorate ourselves, we spoil it all. We decorate the Lord, we are actually decorating ourselves because we are part and parcel of the Lord. So, this is a very deep, profound point. This point to understand is very central and essential to the advancement of Krishna. Sorry, I spent a lot of time discussing this point, but if we miss this point, we have missed the essence of Krishna consciousness, especially if we are serious in making spiritual advancement the path of devotion. I'm sorry, I've just covered how many? 35 verses. I'll just cover a few more and then we'll conclude. We can continue the next time. So Lord Chaitanya was so happy to see this garden laid out with hundreds of items. Thinking, oh, how Jagannath has accepted all this. Then, so many plates were came and, small plates made of the Ketaki tree leaves, it is said. Each person, all the devotees were seated, were given 5-7 plates. Sorry, 10 plates. So many items. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that, all those who have been singing, dancing for hours, they must be so tired. He got everybody seated. And Lord Chaitanya was so excited. He was not so excited to sit down and eat. He said, I want to serve. So Lord Chaitanya, in his enthusiasm, got everybody seated and he started distributing the prasad to all those who were seated. He was so eager to feed them. Devotees are all sitting in lines and Lord Chaitanya personally going and serving. But Lord Chaitanya went on serving, but nobody was eating. Everybody was waiting. Because how to eat when the Lord has not eaten? The Lord should eat first. So everybody is sitting. So finally Swarup Damodar told the Lord, oh Lord, you have served a lot, but you see nobody is eating. Until you eat, nobody will eat. So why don't give the serving job to us? Let us do the serving. You please sit down. Then Lord Chaitanya, understanding the situation, finally sat down with his other confidential associates and uh, then all the devotees started honoring this prasad. There's hundreds and hundreds of items which are offered just on the road outside the garden, fresh off the altar, so to say, just offered to Jagannath. And Lord Chaitanya was so happy after he finished his meal. He again got up and he was ensuring every devotee got, like he said, they were filled up to their necks. And after finishing his prasad and everybody had finished, that Lord washed his mouth and then he sat down. Still there was so much prasad left. And then all the remaining prasad was distributed to the poor and, the needy people and the beggars. They came and Lord Chaitanya gave all this prasad and he told all of them, say Hari Bol. And as soon as all those beggars and poor people said Hari Bol, instantly they went into ecstatic love. Instantly. So in that way, very, very beautiful pastimes were manifested in this place, in this particular place. And in this way, the lunch celebration ended. So as I'm narrating this pastime, like what I mentioned, this is very vivid in my mind because I've been in that place, sat under those same trees, and had lunch sitting there in that same place where this pastime has happened. So somehow we were fortunate. So Sometimes some devotees ask me, "Oh, why you're describing it so vividly?" Because somehow in the earlier years, now of course the yatras are thousands and thousands of people. These things are difficult, but Maharaj would take us when we were in 500, 600, in manageable numbers. Maharaj especially likes to enact pastimes in the way they happened at those very places. So we not only hear the pastimes, but we also try to following in the footsteps of Lord. We are not imitating them. We are trying to recreate the environment of how it would have been there. So all these things are very still fairly vivid in my memory. So I can pretty much imagine how it would have played out at that place. And that's not far ago, right? 500 years ago. Same place, same garden. So we are so fortunate. We are at a time which is so close to Lord Chaitanya's appearance. Houses of Advaitacharya is there, the gardens are there, the deities are there, the deities that these personalities worshipped are there. Very fortunate. We're very fortunate that we are getting the opportunity to hear these pastimes coming down from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami directly from the mind of Lord Chaitanya. So let us express our gratitude to the Lord that this Kathamritam has been made accessible to all of us by the Lord and through the Lord's servants. Our Acharyas, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Siddhanta Saraswati, Srila Prabhupada, their descendants. It's beautiful. Hari Katha. Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam. Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravana Mangalam Srimadatam. Vigrinanti Ye Bhuridai. So I'm going to stop here. We have barely covered 50 verses. Actually 46 to be precise from this chapter. This chapter is almost 230 shlokas. But I hope it has been worthwhile. We have learned something which to us. So I'm going to stop here. Any questions, comments? Yeah, Tarun Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yes, I can hear you.
Prabhuji, I have a question on the Vaishnav part that you was explaining the qualities. So what we understood that Vaishnav feels happy when if anyone other person is getting mercy or getting opportunity to service, and Krishna also becomes happy. But on the other side, when as I was listening the Gopi part, so Gopi was more possessive to Krishna. So is possessiveness not good, Prabhuji? Is that good? Possessiveness will bring the same thing.
The Gopis' possessiveness is not what it appears to be.
Okay.
And the possessiveness of the Gopis is not about their own pleasure. Sometimes it appears that a Gopi is is acting possessive, as if she wants Krishna for herself.
Yeah.
Radhanath Maharaj and the Acharyas, they explain that the Gopis do this because they know that that will please Krishna. So in the Gopis' mind, just like, think, let's say, you are a college boy. And now you are married with children. It's a different thing. Just imagine. Okay? Imagine you are not married.
Good time to imagine.
This is not for Mataji to listen to, but just imagine young boy in a college, and you see two girls, very beautiful, pretty girls, fighting over you. Oh, I want to meet Tarun. I want to. No, I will take him today with me for lunch. The other one says, no, who are you? I want to be with him. Correct? So as a boy, you feel, they're fighting over me. So nice. She wants to be with me. She also wants to be with me. You understand? So both the possessive attachment expressed by the gopis as well as the chastisement. Sometimes the gopis also chastise Krishna. Come here, huh? Next time I see you here, we are all going to punish you. We are going to tie you up. So both of these moods, based on the situation and circumstances, are actually pleasing to the Lord. The only consideration that the gopis have for Krishna is, in this situation, what is it that will please Krishna? Krishna's pleasure is their exclusive consideration. So what seems like lust of the gopis, lust means I want for myself, I want for myself, is actually pure love, the highest expression of pure love. If it will please Krishna that they will be with Krishna, then they will want to be with Krishna. If it will please Krishna to be with somebody else, then they will be most happy to stay away. So this kind of consciousness is very high to understand. It's not very easy to understand, nor is it easy to be. And that's why the gopis are considered the highest of all the devotees. Okay? So it's not so easy to understand the gopis. Their love is at a very different stature. And the test of that is that, not the test, the certificate of that is the beautiful Lila where Narad Muni goes to the gopis and says, give me the dust from your feet. Krishna has a headache.
Yeah.
And they all say to Narad Muni, quickly take from our feet. Why? Don't you know you will go to hell? By our going to hell for eternity, Krishna will be relieved from his headache even for a moment. You think it's not a bad deal? It's a good deal. That is their consciousness. When I first heard this pastime, scratching my head. It's too much. So their love is par excellence. So that is why the heart of devotion is about pleasing the Lord, understanding what is it that the Lord will want. And the more we advance, the more we understand the heart of the Lord and what will please the Lord. We try to act accordingly. Some of the pure devotees are such great souls that they don't even mind becoming a villain, the Lord's pastime. Just to flavor up the pastime and create that Lila. Yeah, it's okay. Well, they all think that I am the bad guy. It's okay. Let me do my part. Lord is happy. Right? Bhishma took the other side, even though he's such a great devotee. That was the Lord's inner desire. He wanted to set a particular lesson. He acted in that way. So to be a devotee of that caliber is not very easy. But at least we should intellectually know that's where we want to be. And we have to learn by following in the footsteps of the great souls, learning from them, learning from their example. Hopefully someday, sometime, can develop a small fraction. Kind of. Yeah. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Hari Bol. Jai Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai Samaveta. Jai. By the way, just before I forget, Tuesday is part of Nirjala Ekadashi. Those who want to observe Nirjal, gives the fruit of all other Ekadashis if it is observed without it. For those, it's not like a rule that you must. Not, then you can observe as a normal Ekadashi also. Just your attention. Just in Malaysia, the fasting is Tuesday. I'm not sure. So yeah. Please check your local calendars. And the least is to observe it as a normal Ekadashi. Okay. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Puja Mataji, Indulekha Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you,
Jai
Prabhuji.
Mataji. Thank you. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Archana.